Hi, I'm Anna Jordan. I'm an assistant professor in the MFA Visual Communication Design program at Rochester Institute of Technology. Today, I'll share a project with you that I call Mining for Ideas. This is a project that I teach in my course, Design Systems. On the first day of the course, I ask my graduate students, what is the hardest part about being a graphic designer? And the most common answer I hear is the challenge of coming up with ideas. So I am passionate about giving my students all sorts of strategies for ideation and iteration that they could take with them and apply to future projects. Strategies that are flexible and reliable and will ensure that they're never at a loss for ideas. This is an example of that. This project is inspired by three things. First, my own design process in book cover design, in which I explore mixing analog and digital ways of working, and various morphologies that I've designed for myself and use in my process. Second, the surrealist exquisite corpse drawing game. In particular, the collaborative aspect of this game and the freedom that participants experience when they're able to create art without knowing what it will be. And the third inspiration for this project is the work of Nancy Skolos and Thomas Waddell, the way that they work from form to content and their innovative collage process that they've taken around the world in the form of a poster design workshop that starts with a collage. Mining for Ideas begins with a first day of class workshop that's all about collaborative form making. Each student is given a sheet of paper and a bag with different art supplies in it, and we sit around a big table that fits everyone, and I set my timer for 2 minutes. The instructions are, you have 2 minutes to alter the paper in front of you using only what is in your bag. At the end of 2 minutes, pass your paper to the right, and we repeat this until everyone is reunited with their original paper. Very quickly, the table becomes a mess and everyone loosens up. People are chatting, people's hands are getting dirty, I turn music on. It's a really fun vibe. And the results of these collaborative collages are both beautiful and grotesque. The flat pieces of paper turn into these very sculptural objects. Each collage is touched by every person in the room. It's altered by each student. And they're full of beautiful moments of form. At the end of the workshop, I received positive feedback. The students really enjoy it. They have a lot of fun, and it's unusual for them to be able to get their hands dirty like this in class. So they really enjoy it. I purposely fill the bags with a wide variety of art supplies to make sure that each collage includes many design elements. Every collage will include many examples of type and image and line quality, texture, pattern, color, form, opacity, dimensionality, and more. They're very rich, full of all sorts of interesting moments. Then we take one of these collages and we bring it into Photoshop. And I show the students how we can zoom in to look at this collage at an impossible scale. And I pan around this collage, and anytime we see a moment that looks interesting, maybe it's a nice piece of type or an interesting color combination or an exciting arrangement of positive and negative form, we stop and we take a screenshot. We essentially take a crop out of this collage. And the students go home and do this for homework with their own collage. They come back with 20 different crops, gems of ideas, as if they're miners that have gone through their collage with a flashlight and a chisel looking for valuable gems. And then for each of those crops, they make a list of possible content. And at this point, I give them their design assignment. And this could become anything. It could be a book cover, a poster. It could even be an interior design project, an architecture project. It's very flexible. The point is we're drawing inspiration from form and then adding content to it and creating a piece of design. So for the sake of this presentation, I'm showing work from this past spring in which students designed a series of 3 billboards for a cultural event. We take that crop and we use it as a guide to create a first draft. And then once we have a first draft of the design, that's when we begin our iteration phase. And it's at this point that I teach the students how they can design a morphology for themselves. We talk about how morphologies are useful as scaffolding to build iteration. And in this particular assignment, I asked them to structure their iteration around concrete design elements. So we talk about those same design elements that we found in the collages, and I have them build their morphology around that. They analyze their first draft and they make a list in 2 columns, design elements that are consistent and design elements that vary across this trio of billboards. And then they make a plan, a morphology for themselves in which they can take design elements and move them from one category to another. So elements that were consistent become variables, elements that were variables become consistent. And this gives them a very concrete plan that they can make myriad iterations from following this structure. The results are beautiful and interesting and different than what they would be had the students followed a different process. So it leads them to exciting designs. And some of the feedback that I have gotten about this project comes from written student reflections. And there are several common themes that I can pull from this. Students really enjoy learning about how they can find inspiration everywhere. They love working with analog tools. This is successful in helping them relieve the anxiety of the blank page. That morphology of reshuffling design elements is really helpful to them. And they enjoy the collaborative aspect that leads them to surprising ideas. Most importantly, they see the value in this method and how they can apply it to future projects. I hope that's helpful to you. Thank you so much for your time.